Hello, time for another exciting math video. Today's subject is percent as ratio. Understanding percent as a type of ratio. Percents are really different things for different times. Percents can be talked of as a ratio. Percents can be talked of as a fraction. Percents can be talked of as a decimal. Percents can be talked of as a percent. They are all things. They are all the same thing. They can be used different ways in different circumstances. Today's video is just to get you to understand a percent as a ratio, as a type of ratio. Okay, first, definitions. Percents mean out of 100. How many years are in a century? 100 years in a century. How many centimeters in a meter? 100 centimeters in a meter. How many cents in a dollar? 100 cents in $1. The Latin word for 100 is centum. Cent, as a root word, means 100. So per cent is per 100 or out of 100. That's the definition of percent. So, out of 100, what does that mean? Well, let's turn these percents into ratios out of 100. 37% is 37 out of 100. 80% is 80 out of 100. 43% is 43 out of 100. And these ratios are a fraction also, because the 100 is the whole thing. So 100% is 100 out of 100, or just 1, or the whole thing. So what is 100% of 35? It's 35. What is 100% of 62? It is 62. What is 100% of an apple? It is the apple. 100% of anything is the thing itself. 100% means the whole thing. Okay. 80% is less than the whole thing. 37% is less than the whole thing. 43% is less than the whole thing. They are fractions of the thing. Okay. As ratios, they can be used in proportions, and the proportions can be used to find answers. You can use the horizontal method, where we go left to right. We can use the vertical method, where we go up and down. Or you can use the simplify method, where we simplify first and then go from that to the other. All three methods work. We're going to concentrate on them one at a time. Horizontal method. What is 50% of 300? Well, start out by writing 50 over 100. And why is it over 100? Because it is a percent. Equals how many out of 300? Well, look how easy this horizontal method is. How do I go from 100 to 300? I multiply by 3. So what do I do to 50? I multiply by 3. 50 times 3 is 150. Well, that makes sense, because 50 is half of 100, and isn't 150 half of 300? So it makes sense. It all works out. What is 15% of 400? Well, we do 15 over 100. Why don't I do it over 400? Because it's not over 400, it's a percent. And percent means it's out of 100. And then out of 400, so this is times 4. This is times 4. 15 times 4 is 60. And the answer is 60. And the answer up here was 150. Remember, you have to give the answer, and please circle it. All right. It even works this way. What is 18% of 50? Well, we'll do 18 out of 100. And why do I say 18 out of 100 and not 18 out of 50? Because it's a percent, and percent means out of 100. It doesn't mean out of 50. 18% is 18 out of 100. Of 50 means out of 50. How do I go from 100 to 50? I divide by 2. What do I do to 18? I divide by 2. What's 18 divided by 2? It's 9. And therefore, the answer is 9. What is 18% of 50? 18% of 50 is 9. 15% of 400 is 60. 50% of 300 is 150. Remember to put the answer and circle it. Now we're going to do vertical method. So we're going up and down. All right, 50%, I remember, is 50 out of 100. 25% is 25 out of 100. 10% is 10 out of 100. Now we want this out of 60, so we'll do that. How do I go from 100 to 50? I divide by 2. So what do I do to 60? Divide by 2. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. Let's remember to write it and circle it as the answer. What is 50% of 60? It is 30 because it's half. Half of 100 is 50. Half of 60 is 30. Divide by 2. How do I go from 100 to 25? I divide by 4. So we'll put out of 44. What do I do to 44? I divide by 4. What's 44 divided by 4? It's 11. So therefore, what is 25% of 44? It is 11. How do I go from 10%? 10% is 10 out of 100. How do I go from 100 to 10? I divide by 10. So out of 90, what are we going to do to 90? We're going to divide by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. So therefore, the answer is 9. Vertical method. How do you get from 100 to 50? Divide by 2. 60 divided by 2 is 30. The answer is 30. How do you go from 100 to 25? Divide by 4. 44 divided by 4 is 11. The answer is 11. How do I go from 100 to 10? I divide by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. 9 is the answer. Finally, we get to the simplify method. All right, I'm going to start out by doing 75% is 75 out of 100. And I'm going to do 60% is 60 out of 100. And 30% is 30 out of 100. But why are they? Because they are percents, and percents are always out of 100. Now I'm going to simplify because I'm using simplify method. Divide these both by 25. 75 divided by 25 is 3. 100 divided by 25 is 4. 75% is 3/4. 60 over 100. Divide them by 20. That's 3/5. 100 divided by 20 is 5. 60 divided by 20 is 3. 30 100ths. Divide them both by 10. 3/10. Okay, I've simplified them. Now I'm going to use the simplified version to solve this. So out of 80. Why 80? Because it says of 80. And so 4 times 20. I don't like the looks of that. I'm going to redo it. 4 times 20. 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60. Therefore, the answer is 60. 5. 3 to 5 out of 35. 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 7 is 21. And the answer is 21. Remember to put the answer in and circle it. And this is out of 70. This is times 70. Times 7 rather. 3 times 7 is 21. And that answer is also 21. Which kind of makes sense if you want to look at it carefully. But that's the idea. First of all, you can write the percent as the number over 100, and then you can use it in a proportion, horizontal, vertical, or simplify methods to solve it. Horizontally, 100 times what is 300? 50 times the same number. 100 times 4 is 400, 15 times the same number. 100 divided by 2 is 50, 18 divided by 2 is 9. Vertical method. To get from 100 to 50, divide by 2. 60 divided by 2 is 30. To get from 100 to 25, divide by 4. 44 divided by 4 is 11. 100 divided by 10 is 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. Simplify. Simplify the ratio first. determine how to go from one side to the other. All right, any questions? Ask your teacher, please.